Hello everyone, my name is Tree and this is Lost Time Toys, and today we are going to be discussing the toy that started it all, the 18-inch Rainbow Brite doll. So this doll was created by Mattel. Hallmark owns the licensing rights and licensed the rights to Rainbow Brite to Mattel in 1983, and the dolls came out in 1984. I just watched this 1984 Christmas time clip that was published by a news station, and it was reviewing some of the top selling toys in December 1984. And along with Rainbow Brite, they were discussing how 1984 was a big year for Transformers and Cabbage Patch Kids and Legos and G.I. Joe were already very much in the marketplace, but Transformers and Rainbow Brite were the kind of the new it toys for 1984. So today we'll be discussing this 18-inch doll, and I do have a loose one right beside me so we can take a closer look at the details with the doll. But let me just back up and let me show you what this doll looks like. So this is a refurbished box. The box that I got from a seller in San Francisco had blue kind of like Sharpie marks in the lower corner here of the star. The cellophane was completely ripped and torn, and her face had dark circle blemishes. So what I did was with a wet cloth, I cleaned her face, replaced the cellophane, cleaned as much as I could with diluted acetone, and then I painted over as best as I could the star. And then I also tried to steam out and iron out the rest of the box. But I think I did a decent job. We can talk about the box as a whole. There are certain differences in this box compared to the 9-inch doll, and also differences in this box and the other 18-inch dolls. Namely, for the Shy Violet 18-inch and the Patio Green 18-inch that came out a year after in 1985, they had a photograph of the doll in the front here. This has the same iconic pose that Rainbow Brite has for all of the other 9-inch dolls. So this has a serial number for the doll at 7230. The doll is approximately 18 and a half inches, so it's slightly taller than 18-inch, and there's indication that there's with her own story inside. The story is, I've read the brochure, it's pretty eventful. It's not that interesting, but it does have some of the pictures of the other dolls that were released during this time. You see that there was like the 6 boy sprites. There was a Lurky doll, a Lurky plush, a Murky as well. Here's Romeo, Spark, and Lurky. And then on the other side, you'll see the other sprites. There's like not much else that's pictured here. This is the most iconic of the Rainbow Brite dolls. When people think of, in my opinion, when people think of 1980s Rainbow Brite, they think of the 18-inch doll. It's featured prominently in all of the commercials, all of the catalogs, and it is the most iconic representation of a Rainbow Brite toy, in my opinion, even more so than the 9-inch doll. So let's talk about the doll itself. So the doll itself has this orange, it's very orange, blonde hair. You could say strawberry blonde, but I think it's blonde, it's like orange and yellow mixed together with the same yarn. I am challenged to say that it's a thicker yarn, but it looks fairly the same. Doesn't look that much thicker. The obviously the head mold is different. It's the same head mold that Patty O'Green will utilize a year later. She has blue eyes, two different color blues, a pale pink lip, blush, and a light purple star on her cheek. There is a thick, I want to say this is a 1/2 inch ribbon. It's hard to see here because of the glare, but it has a 1/2 inch ribbon. And as we move down, she has soft plush material for her legs, a satin white trim throughout. We have the bunching segments on her sleeves. It's very similar to the Baby Brite doll, but this has more primary colors going from blue to red, yellow, orange, and this aqua. And then there is a dress. The dress has this very shiny metallic, almost holographic blue material that has, if you turn it in different directions, it looks somewhat green, somewhat blue, and then sometimes purple, which I think is really cool. The top of the dress is the same parachute material, but it's a dark red. And my least favorite part of this doll is actually the color belt. The way that they represent the iconography of the color belt is through this adhesive sticker. It is very, very simplified. It's just a very reductive star and 3 stripes on the rainbow with the dark orange, yellow, and green. This sticker will fall off over time, and that's why when you look on eBay, the 18-inch doll has like tons of dolls with the dress and everything on it, but the sticker is gone just because due to the elements, it will fall off over time. The boots are very iconic. They're like space boots. We see the same colors here repeated with this time green at the top. That's kind of curious. Then aqua, then purple, and then the base is yellow, and then right above it is the red color. And there's a kind of like yellow goldenrod color trim at the very top that matches her hairdo. So this is the 18-inch doll. Let me show you it loose. So I don't have the best condition 18-inch doll loose. I've tried to restore it as much as I can. And I've put kind of plastic on her to hold her hair in place. What you can do is you can steam out the yarn bangs and just with a comb straighten it out. And I just get this like plastic, you can get anything, and I tape it in the back. I do the same thing for the ponytail, but you really don't have to do this. I do this because it's easier to comb and to cut stray strands of yarn. This is the original ribbon. It is nothing to write home about, but it is thick. I think it's 1/2 inch thick and a true blue. And then we have the dress. As you can see here, this is a pretty worn dress. It lost its luster, the metallic material. It's now crinkly and soft, but I tried my best to restore the blue portions of Rainbow Brite with acrylic paint diluted in water, but I think it turned out pretty well. It's mainly the aqua portions that I painted with acrylic, but I just wanted to show you this in general. This is what the doll looks like. And the star is very much still on her. The blush is still quite pink, and then the eyes are in great condition. So this is the 18-inch doll, the most iconic representation of Rainbow Brite in doll form, according to me. But it does hold a lot of sentimental value for a lot of people. And I do think it's quite cute. The only thing is I wish they had spent a little bit more energy designing an actual color belt because it would have really taken this doll over the top. So let me show you the box one more time. And I think this is probably the very first thing that the Mattel creators designed. It is iconic, and probably the success of this doll led to the second the second wave of dolls coming out in 1985 with Shy Violet and Patio Green in the 18-inch, and then the three other colored kids, Lala Orange, Buddy Blue, and Shy Violet. But let me know what you guys think of the 18-inch Rainbow Brite doll. If you have any memories of this doll growing up as a kid. I did not get into Rainbow Brite until I came to America in 1991, 1992, and at that time it was 8 years after the release of Rainbow Brite. But I have seen so many friends share their childhood photographs of receiving a Rainbow Brite doll for Christmas, and it must have been truly an exciting moment. This is a landmark toy and one that is a watershed in sort of girl toys in America. So let me know what you think of Rainbow Brite, and if you have any questions about this doll in particular in the box. And can't wait to share more from my collection.